Hi everyone, welcome back to another TS Talks. Hope you're all doing good, keeping safe. Obviously, if you're new to the channel, I'd appreciate if you hit the subscribe button down below, and also, let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comment section below at the end on the topic on which I'm going to talk about. Now, earlier today, Boris Johnson, he made an announcement in regards to how the government are going to address, COVID restrictions in England. I know this is in response to some backlash that the government have been receiving the last week or so within Parliament. You know me, I'm not really into politics, but when I see it pop up today that he's going to do an announcement on this, I thought, actually, let me listen to what he's going to say, and then I can make a response video in reaction to it. So within this statement, one of the first things he stated was that office workers who can work from home should do so unless you can't work from home, which, comes less than a month after they were encouraging everyone to return to the offices. For me, the whole thing comes across a bit like a yo-yo thing. 1 minute it's do this, 1 minute it's do that. And, even I saw some of the other politicians and that saying that, with this government, everything seems to be, a U-turn. 1 minute it's this, then it's that, which, it's not really helpful for the public who are meant to actually take this advice on board. The next thing he mentioned was that, from Thursday, pubs, bars and restaurants are to become table service only, except from takeaways, and that they must close at 10 p.m. Now, for me, firstly, and I've seen many people mocking it on Twitter, I didn't know that COVID only affects after 10 at night. That's just my personal opinion on it, It's been a threat ever since it's been here earlier this year. And I didn't think it was just a threat at night time. Now, looking at it, because he didn't actually explain his reasons as to why, this 10 o'clock thing. I know some people might think, is it because people may be gathering outside of places after 10 o'clock at night? Truth be told, people can gather around any time of the day they choose to do so. So 10 o'clock at night doesn't really make much difference from 6 o'clock in the evening. You probably got more people gathering around at 6 o'clock in the evening. Like I said in the video the other day, I went on to get on the train the other week and it was more or less kind of busy. So this 10 o'clock at night thing doesn't really make much sense. And again, with the train being busy the other week was due to the government encouraging people to go back to work within the office. Also, my thoughts on the whole, 10 o'clock curfew thing is that, it could affect some businesses. There's some places that, they may do a certain amount of business in the evening time. Like, I'll give you an example, like football. The football Premier League season returned just over a week ago. The games are being staggered out so they can be shown on live on television. I went to watch a game the other week with my brothers, and that was like a later kickoff, but then there was a later game after that which kicks off at 8. Like on Monday coming up, Arsenal's playing Liverpool. The game kicks off at 8:15, which means, somewhere in the second half, the game probably going to become towards an end around 10 o'clock. I know there's people that's still going to go to the pub to watch that game because there's nothing against doing so. It's not illegal to do so. It's within the rules as long as you socially distance and stuff. The pub ain't going to be able to just kick the people out at 10, just before 10 o'clock and say, we got to close at 10. And, if it means that they therefore don't show the football, then they're going to lose custom, which is going to affect them and affect their pockets. So, for me, where it may sound like a smart idea, at the end of the day, it's affecting businesses. And, the next thing he went on to mention was how face masks, they're now going to be required to be worn by people that work within hospitality and retail. And I kind of saw that coming, in my current job, I'm required to wear a face mask when I'm at work. And I think many people thinking when the whole face mask thing was introduced and wearing it in shops, how comes the staff members don't have to wear it? But at the moment, apparently these things seem to be, getting worse. We seem to be on this tipping point. So with that, I can probably kind of understand that. He also mentioned that, from Monday, that is 15 people was the maximum that's allowed to attend a wedding. And that's also a reception, which is about a 50% drop, because I know before the average number was around 30. And as far as I'm aware, within that number, two of the 15 is the bride and groom. And then you also mentioned that it's 30 people at a funeral. So again, it's a reduced number in a, and for some people, in terms of the wedding, is, one of the happiest days of their life. And the funeral, bereavement is a sad day in people's life that, someone that's, is close, he's passed away. And, only a limited amount of number of people are allowed to attend. Now, adding on from this, he mentioned, about sports fans. There was a plan in place where they was looking to try and, bring some number of sports fans back into stadiums and venues from October. What they said, obviously now this isn't going to happen. And in my opinion, I think it's crazy, Now, I spoke a moment ago about football matches are going to take place in the evening. But as an example, I'm an Arsenal fan. The Arsenal stadium's capacity is about 60,000 people. Now, I'm sure, I don't know how the club would set up which fans are allowed to attend. That's the club's business. But just from a common sense perspective, a 60,000 seat stadium should be able to take, I would say, at least 10,000 people within the stadium. You space them out. Maybe they have to have a certain period of time they have to come to enter the stadium to go sit in their seat, and whatnot. I'm sure it's feasible to be done, So I think that rule is a bit silly. Even, I know I'm a boxing fan as well, so I know even Eddie Hearn was saying recently that they were hoping to try and get fans back in venues. But again, I'm not saying that people are going to fight at Wembley Stadium, a 90,000 seater. And, either way, you could put people within that sort of venue, even places like the O2, which is like a 20k. I'm sure you would be able to put 5,000 people in there and space it out. So I think that's a bit silly, But anyways, people can give me their thoughts on it. And, Boris even then went on to state that, if these current restrictions don't seem to help, then more stronger restrictions will come into play. And that how the current restrictions that he mentioned today, they're most likely to be in place for the next 6 months. So, for me, that kind of tells me that Christmas this year is over. And people that celebrate Christmas with a large amount of family, you best get your Zooms ready. And it's a tough one. I know Christmas is a special day for many people in terms of family and spending time with loved ones. And, it's a shame, but it is what it is. I think the worst thing overall about this announcement was that, he didn't mention nothing regarding the furlough scheme, which, is scheduled to end in October. And at the end of the day, it's pivotal to many people's income and livelihood. I understand the economic side of it, but as far as I'm aware, I believe Wales and Scotland, they're talking about extending it through to January at least, because, this, especially the time of the year leading up to Christmas, is one of the key times of the years people would like to, have a set dedicated income takings and stuff. So it's not going to do well in terms of helping, people's income and livelihood. And as I've mentioned throughout the year, prior to COVID, there's been, mass job cuts. And, there's even more that's happened recently, which I ain't really spoke on, and stuff that's to come, which I will speak on in separate videos. So, you can see how important this scheme has been in terms of keeping people employed and in the job. And then after this, he went on to mention about expanding, the testing, which, they all refer to as NHS Test and Trace, yet it's actually operated by Serco, which is a private company, which I find odd that, none of the other politicians that's in there or in general seem to pull him up on it. I see many people talk about it, but no one, when they're there, no one seems to pull him or Hancock up on it, which for me is a bit odd, but each to their own. But even the test and trace thing, the other week you saw Boris there defeated because people were referring to it as tracer test because people couldn't get a test. So it's all good saying you want to expand the capacity and whatnot, But just last week, people weren't able to get a test. Now, I'm not a politician. I'm not here trying to run the country. It's not something it's not an ambition of mine. It's not something I'm saying I could do perfectly well. But at the end of the day, everyone knows, and a lot of these politicians know, that the government's made a lot of failings within dealing with this, pandemic. And what we would like, as I think what the public would like to hear, is them admitting to their mistakes. And a lot of this is just like, yeah, well, we're doing this. Cool. Your restrictions they're putting in place now is more of a proactive thing than reactionary, which was like earlier on in March, which is a positive. Okay. But it seems like you come across as if you've made no mistakes, which isn't the case. And to, members of the public, I can't speak for everyone, but I'm sure many people would, have more respect for the government if they actually owned up to, their mistakes. That's just my personal opinion on it. Obviously, everyone's free to give their opinion and their thoughts on it all. But yeah, for me, I just feel, like I've mentioned earlier in the video, like, 1 week is one thing, 1 week is another thing. People are like, what instructions am I meant to take from this? Go to work. Literally, I'm sure it's the beginning of this month. Yeah, go back into work. And I just realised that message was serious because when I went to go get the train the other day, I was like, damn, like, where's all these people come from? Like, and then now it's like, actually, no, don't go to work, which is, to me, it's confusing. It's not helpful, but it is what it is. Like they said, most likely these restrictions are going to be in place for around 6 months. And, we'll just have to take it from there. So, yeah, please let me know your thoughts on this all in the comment section below. And like I said at the beginning, if you haven't already done so, go and hit that subscribe button now. Also, in the description, I've got my Instagram, my Twitter. If you don't already follow me there, do so. And, yeah, man, I'll catch you next time. Peace.